My name is Clara Whitson. I'm 103 years old, and I'm about to tell you something nobody really tells you. Not your parents, not your therapist, not the people who write self-help books. And the reason they don't is simple. It's too painful, too bare, too true. I've lived more than a century. I've buried 3 husbands, 2 children, most of my friends, and every single person I knew before I was 40. I've watched the world reinvent itself again and again, and through all of it, one truth has stayed with me, following me every day. We live as if we have endless time, when in reality we have almost none. But let me tell you when I first began to understand that. Not at 90, not at 80, at 33. And it took me another 70 years to understand what that moment had really been trying to teach me. It was November 3rd, 1956. I remember because it was a Saturday, and I had planned to go out dancing that weekend with my husband, Thomas. We had been married for 8 years. We had 2 little boys, Daniel and Henry. Thomas worked at the factory. He was dependable, gentle, the kind of man who kissed my forehead every morning before leaving and said, "See you tonight, Mark." Except that Saturday he never came back. There had been an accident at the factory. They told me it was quick. They told me he didn't suffer. That is what people always say, isn't it? What they never tell you is that when somebody dies suddenly, they take all your unsaid words with them. Every "I love you" you meant to say later. Every apology you postponed. Every moment you were too irritated, too distracted, too exhausted to really be there. That night, sitting alone at the kitchen table, I made a promise to myself. I promised I would never waste another day. I promised I would live on purpose. I promised I would love openly. I promised I would never delay joy again. And almost immediately I broke that promise. Oh, I believed I was doing better. I hugged my boys more. I said I love you more often. But then life does what life always does. It fills up. I remarried, work got busy, the boys got older. I told myself I had changed, that I had learned what I needed to learn. But I hadn't, not really. Because here is what I didn't understand at 33, and what took me another 70 years to fully grasp. It is not enough to survive heartbreak and assume you are different now. The lesson is not simply that life is short. Everyone says that. You see it on greeting cards, hear it in speeches, read it in books. The real lesson is this: you will forget. You will drift back into routine. You will go back to autopilot. You will start acting as though time has returned to you. And that forgetting, that slow slide back into carelessness, that is the real tragedy. I married again in 1959. His name was Edward, a kind man. We had 42 years together before his heart finally gave out. And you know what I regret most about those 42 years? Not our arguments, not the years when money was tight, not the things we disagreed on. What I regret most is the ordinary evenings I treated as disposable. All those Tuesday nights I spent folding clothes instead of sitting beside him. All the times he asked me to go for a walk, and I answered, "Not now, I'm busy." All the moments I handled like they were guaranteed. Because nobody tells you this about reaching my age. You do not only lose the people you love once, you lose them again and again in memory. Every time you think of them, another wasted moment returns to you. Another conversation you half listened to. Another embrace you cut short. Another chance to be fully there that you let slip away. My son Henry died in 1988. He was 45 years old, cancer. I was 65. I remember sitting at his hospital bedside, holding his hand, and he said to me, "Mom, I'm sorry I didn't call more." And I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake him and say, "Why are we saying this now? Why didn't we call each other every day when we still could?" But I didn't say that. I only held his hand and lied. I told him we still had time. We didn't. My third husband, Samuel, died 2 years ago at 98. We had 21 years together. And even after everything I had already lived through, everything I had supposedly learned, do you know what I still did? Sometimes I still looked at my phone while he was speaking. Sometimes I still sighed when he told the same story again. Sometimes I still thought, I'll listen better tomorrow. There was not always a tomorrow. You're probably young hearing this and thinking it sounds bleak. You're probably thinking, well, yes, everyone dies eventually, but that is not the point. The point is not that everyone dies. The point is that you keep living as if you are somehow exempt, as if your life will unfold differently, as if there will be a later version of life where you finally start paying attention. I am 103 years old, and I can tell you with complete certainty, later never arrives. You think you'll travel after retirement. By then, your body may not cooperate. You think you'll reconnect with your sister when work slows down. Work may stay busy for 20 years, and then she may be gone. You think you'll write the book, learn the language, take the trip, start the habit, say the important thing when you have more time, more money, more energy, more certainty. You won't. Because here's the cruel part. You do have time now. You just do not value it correctly. You exchange it for things that do not matter. You pour it into people who exhaust you. You waste it being anxious over things that will mean nothing in 5 years. And then one day, if you live long enough, you will look back and understand that you had enough time all along. You simply did not use it. I am not telling you to abandon your responsibilities. I am not telling you to quit your job and disappear into the mountains. I am asking something much harder. I am asking you to pay attention right now, today, to what you are actually doing with your one brief and unrepeatable life. Is your grandmother still alive? Call her today, not tomorrow, today. Because I am a grandmother, and I can tell you exactly what she may be doing right now. She may be sitting somewhere quiet, looking at old photographs, or staring through the window, thinking about the people who no longer call, about the grandchildren who always seem too busy. And she is probably telling herself that it is fine, that everyone has their own life, that she understands. But each time it hurts her a little. If your parents are still here, then listen carefully. They will not be here forever. And when they are gone, you will not care about the argument from 5 years ago. You will not care that they were difficult at times. You will not care that they misunderstood you or annoyed you or failed you in certain ways. You will care about the phone calls you never made, the visits you kept postponing, the evenings you could have sat beside them and didn't. I know this because now I am that parent. I had 2 sons. Henry died 38 years ago. Daniel is 76 now. He comes every Sunday, rain or shine, every single Sunday. And you know what? It still does not feel like enough. Not because he is failing me, he is a wonderful son, but because no amount of time feels like enough when you truly love someone. Every Sunday when he leaves, I watch him walk to his car, and I think, will I see him again? At my age, every goodbye could be the last. That is not darkness, that is arithmetic. But here's what you need to understand. It is not different for you just because you are younger. Every goodbye could be your last, too. You simply do not believe it yet. I have a great-great-granddaughter. Her name is Lily. She is 16. Last month, she came to see me, and nearly the whole time, she was looking down at her phone. I said nothing, because what would be the point? She believes she has forever. She thinks the messages on her screen are urgent. She assumes this moment, sitting with her very old great-great-grandmother, will always be available to her. It won't. And one day, probably much later, she will remember that visit, and she will remember that she spent most of it looking at a screen. And it will hurt her in a way she cannot imagine yet. That is the pain I want to save you from. Not the regret of huge mistakes. Those are easier to make peace with. I mean the regret of simple absence, of being physically there but mentally elsewhere, of treating the people you love as though they will always remain. They won't. I do not think I will be here much longer. I can feel that in a quiet way, not a frightening one. My body is tired. It has been carrying me for over a century, and it is nearly done. And honestly, I am at peace with that. I have had a long life, longer than I expected, longer than I ever thought I would get. But what I am not at peace with is the idea that you might spend your life the way I spent so much of mine. Because here is the truth I learned 70 years too late. The moments that matter most are not the dramatic ones. Not your wedding, not your graduation, not your promotion. Those are meaningful, yes, but they are not what will fill your mind at the end. You will remember a quiet Tuesday when your father tried to show you how to repair something and you chose patience instead of irritation. You will remember a random Saturday morning making pancakes with your children while no one was rushing anywhere. You will remember the walk you took with your spouse when you really listened instead of waiting for your turn to talk. Those are the moments that stay. The ordinary ones, the plain ones, the ones that seemed forgettable at the time. The moments when you were simply there, fully there. Those are the moments that matter. And they are available to you right now, today, this very moment. But you have to choose them. You have to defend them, because everything around you is built to pull you away from them. Your phone, your work, your ambitions, your fears, your endless list of things to do. If I could go back to 33-year-old Britt, standing in that kitchen the night Thomas died, this is what I would tell her. You are going to break the promise you are making tonight. You are going to break it again and again, because you are human, and human beings forget. But that is not the end of the story. Your real job is this: remember and return. Remember and return. Whenever you drift back into distraction, return. Whenever you start taking people for granted, return. Whenever you get swallowed by busyness and noise and delay, notice it and return. Return to presence. Return to attention. Return to love. Not perfectly, but faithfully. I am 103 years old. I have been alive for 37,500 95 days. And I can count on two hands the number of days I was fully, completely, unmistakably present. That is my real regret. Not that I achieved too little, not that I traveled too little, not that I earned too little. My regret is that I walked through so much of my own life half asleep. Don't do what I did. Do not wait 70 years to learn this. Do not wait until the people you love are gone before realizing you should have loved them better while they were still here. Stop reading this and call someone you love. Stop reading this and sit quietly beside someone. Stop reading this and really look at the people in your life while they are still here to be seen. Because I promise you, with everything I have left, later never comes. If this touched you, write your age in the comments and share one truth life has taught you. And subscribe if you want more inspiring lessons like this.